And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and I am Shanrae. Those, please let me know if you can hear me or not. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties this evening, and so I just need to make sure that you all can hear me, and then we're going to go on and get started. So let me know if you can hear me or not. Let me know. So let me know if you can hear me. Okay, good. You can hear me. We're going to go on and get started because tonight is going to be a little bit more than 30 minutes. This is my fourth and final week, part one of Counsel Day with Shanrae. Okay, so let's get started. I am a degree counselor. Let me go from there. My website disclaimer, let me open it up a little bit. And then we're going to close it. And I did something different this time. I am a degree counselor. I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. That's my bio. And I am a Christian counselor. So the verse I chose for this year comes from Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version, where it says, strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. All right, so this week we are talking about a very adult topic on this evening. I want to say good evening to my Instagram family, my LinkedIn family, my Facebook family, my TikTok family, my Snapchat family. Hey CJ, how you doing? My YouTube family. I think I missed somebody, but good evening to everybody that is watching on tonight. To this week, we are talking about a very, very adult topic, and we all adults, so we can handle it. Okay, so let's go over our key points for this evening. Number one, can sexual withholding affect your marriage or affect your relationship? Number two, why do people withhold sex when they are in a relationship or married? Number three, the impact of withholding sex. Number four, the importance of intimacy in your relationship or marriage. Number five, 4 ways to intimately reconnect with your partner. Number 6, how to nourish different types of intimacy in your marriage. And of course, I'll take away and quote. So our subtopic for this week is using sex as a weapon. Using sex as a weapon. Hey, Melvin. Using sex as a weapon. I believe most of us, if not all of us, have used sex as a weapon at some point in our lives. Okay? All right. So, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We're going to find out this week. Okay? So, our topic for the week, and I got a lot to unfold. It says, let me open it really quick and close it. Can sexual withholdings affect your relationship or your marriage? This is medically reviewed by Dr. Janet Brito, and it's written by Marissa Moore. But Dr. Janet, PhD, Dr. Janet Brito. Okay? So, sexual withholding can have long-term effects on your mental health. Increasing communication and intimacy can help improve our sex life and relationship satisfaction. Now, this is an open platform here. Feel free to comment, to say anything. If you have questions, I will answer them. If you want to share some scenarios, I'll pause and I will share those with you. Okay, so sex is an essential part of marriage or relationship for individuals. And a healthy sex life involves open communication and feeling safe with your partner. So if you're in a relationship where your partner uses sexual withholdings, okay, there are some coping methods that you can use to increase intimacy and communication. Long-term withholding sex from your partner can negatively impact any relationship, okay? So the question is, you ain't got the answer, but the question is, have you ever withheld sex or intimacy from your partner? I can say I have. And it made things very difficult and very complicated. Okay, so let's unpack it. Let's go further in. Why do people withhold sex when they are in a relationship or married? Okay, and let me move this on because we got a lot of things to unpack tonight. Why do people withhold sex? People withhold sex when they're in a relationship for a variety of reasons. Okay, some have common reasons. Some common reasons people withhold sex are: number one, a lack of trust. How many of y'all have done that? Thank you, CJ. You can hear. Thank you. How many y'all? How many of us? I'm gonna say us. How many of us have done that? Have withheld our bodies from our partners because we didn't trust them. Sometimes there's been a betrayal or communication that has dwindled down, leading to a lack of trust and safety in a relationship. Number two is for medical reasons. I used to be a private duty nurse years ago. And when someone has a debilitating illness or disease, that is one of a really, really main reason why they can't even be intimate with their spouses because of that. Okay, so one person may have a medical condition, if not both, that makes having sex more challenging. Okay, one partner may be recovering from surgery, or there could be hormonal imbalances that causes low libido. Some medications can also decrease sex drive. There are some medications that can decrease sex drive. A lot of times when women are experiencing menopause, perimenopause, stuff like that. Hey, Kiara, perimenopause, and even pregnancy. Sometimes these things, when your hormones are imbalanced, hormones are definitely imbalanced, it causes either one or two things. Either you be extra frisky, or you just don't want nobody to touch you. So, this is true. Medical reasons is number two, why some people withhold their themselves from being intimate with their partner or their marriage. Number three, from stress and exhaustion. I mean, how many of us have actually been there? Can we see a show of hands? Where you are so tired. Maybe you have a young family. Even if you have a small puppy, because I started over after someone stole my first puppy, Blazy, and started over a year and a half later and got a brand new puppy. And I mean, I had to get used, because it's like having a baby. I was wore out. So it's different scenarios where you may be experiencing stress, exhaustion. Miss Kelly said she was diagnosed with cancer and had to abstain for three. You said 3 years? Hold on, am I reading that right? Abstain for 3 years. Oh wow. Okay. Yes. Miss Kelly, how did all of that work out with you with your relationship? Because that's serious. She said 3 years. That's serious. Again, she had a health condition. And I want to commend your partner, your husband, or your spouse for actually being there and caring for you and loving you through that process. Wow, that's a serious testimony that she was diagnosed with cancer, and for 3 years as she was battling and recovering from that, that was a part of where she couldn't, be intimate. So that is something. Again, I do want to commend your partner, your spouse, for just loving on you and helping you to get through that time in your life. Carol said yes. God bless you. Carol said, God bless you, Miss Kellyan. That's a blessing. Okay, so yes, medical reasons, stress and exhaustion. If you're feeling more fatigued or having a lot of external pressure, this may cause you to withhold from sex from your partner for a while. Number 4 said it becomes a routine. Sometimes it does become routine when you just routinely have just put that part of your life away. And you just say, it's not that important. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it does become routine. It says here what what the Dr. Janet was saying. Dr. Janet was saying that when someone is bored by doing the same old thing in bed and aren't openly communicating with their partner, then they just leave it alone. And that's something that's definitely shouldn't be done at all. Hey, Jeff, that should not be done at all. Communication, proper communication, is a very important key when it comes to your relationships and intimacy. And even if you got to talk about some tough things, you know what I'm saying? It's okay, because the thing is, you want to get through it. You want to get over it so you can become that one. Because when the two become one, when you become one again, it is so important. So sometimes that routine of that lack and stuff like that. And I added these two: disappointment and lack of fulfillment. Okay, some people are disappointed in their sexual relationship with their partner and their spouse. Some people may have a lack of fulfillment, but once again, that communication is important. It is, because that is what's going to keep you two together, especially those that are in Christ, and you have a marriage and you are Christians, and you want to represent Christ in your marriage. That is what helped keep your bond together, even when you are experiencing difficult times. That if you're able to be together as one intimately, I'm telling you, that helps save some things, help ease some things, help you to overcome some things, help you to want to stay united together. So I added number 5, disappointment, and number 6, lack of fulfillment. And so Dr. And I keep forgetting her name. I've had such a long day. Dr. Janet says that these are some common reasons one person or both may be withholding their bodies, withholding sex from their partners. But there may be other reasons that we don't want to have sex. Those are perfectly okay too, she said. But talking to your partner and improving the trust between you two, the safety and communication can help you work through whatever you're going through in your marriage. We're going to move on. So now we're going to talk about the impacts of withholding sex from your relationship. Now, again, we are talking about power versus authority within your relationship, within your intimate relationship. And again, withholding sex is a power move. I'm going to flip it. Using sex as a tool is still a power move. When you know that you can get the upper hand just by, doing your thing, and as long as you can keep your partner sexually satisfied, and whatever that may be going on, that's you can use this as a power tool both ways. Whether you are controlling your partner or your spouse with sex, or whether you withholding it from your partner with sex, either or, it's still a power move. But does that give you the authority to do that? And we're going to keep going with it. Just because you can, why would you use this authority one way or the other? Now, again, if you are medically ill, if you are just exhausted and you need, that's physical, that's something different. But if you're doing this just to be to use this as a power tool, then there's some things that got to be checked. It has got to be checked. Okay. So now the impacts of withholding sex. Dr. Janet, she says that sex is vital to a relationship's satisfaction. We know that. Withholding sex can cause resentment, rejection, and a lack of connection. And in some situations, people may withhold sex not as a means to control, but to do external factors, such as, again, we talked about medical issues or high stress levels. That's something different. But again, when you using sex as a tool to manipulate your partner or your spouse, or you withholding it to get back at them, then that's a no-no. That is a no-no. So she says, Dr. Jenner says that being trusted sources that the following are all linked to greater mental health outcomes is being sexually active in your relationship, having frequent sex in your relationship, being okay with the frequency of having sex, okay, and the perceived quality of the sex that y'all are having together. Now, when my husband and I first got married, I could never, ever, 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 ever imagine us not having sex every day, at least, or 2 or 3 times a day. And now, 32 years later, man, you get older and a whole lot going on, and you do slow down and get tired. I'm not saying that it ain't good, though. I ain't saying it ain't good. You'll never hear me say that. Okay? Let me take the glasses off. You will never hear me say it ain't good. Okay, but it ain't every day. But when we first got married, I would have never, ever thought that we would not be intimate together every day, if not twice or 3 times a day. But as time goes on, 32 years later, I'm not saying that we still not attracted to you, because we definitely are. We most certainly are. But that part of our lives has kind of slowed down just a little bit, but it's still good. Okay. So one thing I never ever wanted to Kiara said, I agree. She agrees. Listen, when we are together, he ain't complaining, and you ain't gonna never hear me complain. It's still equally as wonderful. Okay, just ain't every day. Again, I never thought when we first got married, I never thought that it wouldn't be every day. Okay, but time is going on 32 years later in the marriage, 32 years later, and it ain't every day. Oh, but when we do, okay, it's real good. All right, so as Dr. Janice says, that it is being sexually active and having frequent sex, being okay with the frequency of having sex, or being okay with having it 2 or 3 times a week. It's still okay. Perceived quality of being intimate. She said research then indicates that if you're married and unsatisfied with sex, then this could lead to problems with, of course, everything is going to lead to problems with mental health. Carol said, yes, ma'am. Of course, you're going to have some issues with mental health, because first of all, you're going to start doubting you. Oh my God, what is going on? Is he no longer attracted to me? Is she no longer attracted to me? Are they with somebody else? It's all kinds of questions that's going to be raised in your mind. And so, of course, it's going to affect your mental health, because you're going to think it's the stress is starting to come up. You're stressed. You're feeling distressed. You're feeling depressed. You're starting to feel low self-esteem, or all of that stuff. So, it will cause mental health issues if you are not communicating. If you're not communicating. And just like women go through menopause, when women start going through menopause, depending on their genetics, depending on how early women start menopause in their family, or how late. But women will experience menopause at some point between their 40s and 50s. So your body changes. But although your body may change, you find things to help your situation out, so you can continue to enjoy that part of your life. Then there are people that had surgeries. Okay, when you have babies, if you have a vaginal birth, your body changes. Kiara, don't get scared, honey. Y'all know she's so young, don't get scared. But when you have a vaginal birth, your body changes because you have pushed a human being out of you. Now, women who've had C-sections, they're blessed because they haven't had the vaginal birth, so things are pretty much the same, with that. But they're still, even with vaginal birth, thank God they got so much stuff that'll help pull you back to your original state, as if I want to say that in a political way. It'll get you back into your original state that way. So things will be, similar, if not the same with that. And then there are women that have had to have their uteruses removed. So then that's a whole nother type of thing that happens. But thank God they have different type of things to help you get back to normal, and you don't have to worry about losing that part of your life. As a matter of fact, I've heard and did research on, excuse me, it's a little warm. Heard and did research on women who, after they've actually had hysterectomies, that they had to kind of check themselves because they was like, and I'm just gonna be honest, what was said, they was like, I kind of that the WHORE was trying to come out of me after that because it actually stirred some things up. And I was like, oh, okay, so it can go either way. All right, so let's move on to the importance of intimacy within your marriage. Let me move this on. And so let me open this up. The importance of intimacy in your relationship and in your marriage. Okay, Carol, who was like, she laughing. So intimacy involves how close and bonded that you feel towards your spouse or your partner. And if you don't feel connected to your spouse, you may be experiencing a lack of intimacy. Or a lack of intimacy is why a lot of couples, they start divorcing, or they decide to attend couples therapy, or they start cheating. Okay, that ain't in there, but I'm putting it in there. Most of the time, they start cheating when they feel like they ain't getting it with their spouse or their partner, then they're gonna get it from somewhere else. Which that is never the answer. As a matter of fact, it's causing more issues when you do stuff like that. If you're gonna do that, if it's over, let it be over first, then move on. That is the ethical way to do things. Okay, but I'm not preaching to you. Everybody gotta live their own lives. Okay, but I'm just saying, if you are trying to keep what you got, trying to keep the relationship that you have and keep it healthy, and if you love your spouse or love your partner, if you love them and you know that they love you, you figure out a way to fight for it. Especially because a lot of times things are not as bad as people think. And I'm not talking about anything domestic. Now, if it's domestic, then you do what you got to do. If there's hitting and there's stuff like you got to go. Any type of abuse then leave. Save yourself. But other than that, there's so many different type of issues, small issues that can be resolved. And the answer is not stepping out. Okay. All right. So research indicates that trusted sources that intimacy is associated with quality of life in relationships. The researchers suggest that intimacy is a psychological need that can reduce depression. It do. Improve quality of life and impact marital adjustment. Okay. So how many of y'all would raise their hands or raise a hands? How many of y'all agree that that intimacy it reduces depression? Okay, it improves quality of life. You feel a lot better. I know you feel a lot more energized at some point, and then it impacts your relationship or your marriage in a positive manner. Okay, I see them hands being raised. Exactly. So intimacy does help build trust. It increases feelings of connection in your relationship, and it improves mental health. So let's talk about 4 ways that to intimately reconnect with your partner. We're gonna get this out the way. I know it's a lot tonight, but we're going to really jump into this because this is life right here. Relationships, this is life. It starts young. How many of y'all remember your first love? How old was you when you had your first love? Some people start real young. Their first love was at age 8, 9, 10. Then other people, their first love starts at what? 12, 13, and of course you don't like when somebody tells you, oh, that's puppy love. Okay, yeah, it's puppy love because y'all are puppies. You're young. You're very young, but it don't mean that you wasn't in love. How many remember your first love? Right? Okay, so we know that intimacy is a major part of connection in our relationships and helping us to stay close together. So, okay, four ways. Let me get. I'm sorry. Where am I at? 4 ways to intimately reconnect with your partner. I got stuff all over the place, y'all. Okay. Dr. Janice says that if sexual withholdings is affecting your marriage, there are ways to reconnect with your partner. If sexual withholdings is occurring due to external factors, well, we talked about a few minutes ago. If you don't get it at home, you trying to go out and find what you're looking for. Okay, that's a big breakdown in your relationship. Not unless that's just something that the both of you have agreed that y'all are okay with doing. But my thing is, how long? How long you gonna do it? But whatever. External factors or differences in desire, consider the following to reconnect with your partner. Number one, of course, they're gonna say to see a sex therapist. Trusted sources source that many couples can experience desire discrepancy, which can cause conflicts in relationships and marriages. So desire discrepancies is when one partner has a higher desire for sexual activity than the other one. Sex therapy can help you find ways to reconnect and have a satisfying sex life with your partner. So that's number one, see a sex therapist. Number two, try new activity together. Trying new activities together, whether within or out of the bedroom, can help increase feelings of connectedness and closeness. Find an enjoyable activity that you can both agree on and give it a shot. Now, I'm going to tell you about, I was at a bridal shower some years ago. Y'all know I'm a Christian and I go to church. And so this bridal shower, it was in a reception hall of the church, but church was not occurring. It was on a Saturday or something like that. And so we all came, all us couples came, and we were congratulating the couple that was about to get married, and everybody was adults and grown. And so we all gave gifts. So I had given oh my God. I'm thinking about how my pastor looked. So I had went to the sex shop and I had bought some little thumb handcuffs and some toe cuffs. So y'all, I'm laughing because you had to see these little cuffs. So I bought some little thumb handcuffs and some toe cuffs. And I bought a nice whip, some honey dust and a feather. And then I had given instructions in there for them to buy a real coconut, cut it in half, get everything out, scrape out the inside of it, cut it out, and then for them to get a hole puncher, a strong enough hole puncher, and punch holes in it. And so I said for them to make their own outfits. So she had to make a bra, a bikini top out of the coconut with string, and then a bikini bottoms with the other coconut to cover the front and back. And then you had to make him one for his bottoms. And I said that would be their outfit for when they, got married and had their little playtime and all of that. And so the room was divided in half because, you got the extra Christians in there. And they was all sitting there looking at me like this. Oh my God, what is she doing? And then the pastor of the church said, can you go buy me some? Can you buy me some of those too? And I said, well, if your wife agrees with it, then I'll go get y'all some too. So his wife was sitting there like this, and he was like, yes, go get us some. And I said, but your wife is saying no. He said, she don't know what's best for her. Go get us some too. We want some toe cuffs and some thumb cuffs. And so, getting creative, guys. It's okay to be creative and still enjoy each other's company. I hope that wasn't too X-rated for you guys. I'm sorry. This is an adult week this week that where we're talking about how we can build and improve our love life and our intimacy and our marriage. So, but I will never forget that. They happened to have the bridal shower at the reception hall at the church. So it was all adults. We were all married, and you know how you give gifts. That was my gift that I gave to them. Now, most of the men in the room, all of the husbands, they was looking at my husband saying, yo, this, yeah. And Dupree was sitting there like this. Yeah, this one here. Yeah. They was like, she's creative like that? And he was like, yep. They was like, oh, now we know why you love her. Hey, be creative in the boudoir. Be creative. Another scenario, and again, because I'm a Christian and I grew up in church, you know, things you think everybody has their own belief. So I'm not knocking anybody, but it is what it is. I don't feel all, you know, closed up when it comes to intimacy with your spouse and your partner. And so I remember years ago, I had a pole dance party. For only the married women, we had a pole dance party. And so I went and I checked out a place because pole dancing really is a good form of exercise. I was trying to do some body strengthening, but also wanted to learn a little move or something for my husband. So I wound up making a little party for all my little married friends and stuff. We had a whole party. We had food laid out. Everything. I had family that came in from out of town, and we invited certain friends from church who were married, and it was amazing. They got in there, and we laughed, and I said, "Ladies, when we finish, ladies, whenever you're not too tired, go show your husbands what you learned." Well, it is one. Most of the husbands the following Sunday, they came up and gave me a hug. And gave my husband a pound. They was like, yo. They was like, yo. Your wife, I love her. When's she gonna have the next one? They was like, oh my God, I haven't felt like this in a long time. My wife came home and showed out. That's what it was about. You know how many couples had came back together and you saw like sparks in their marriages. What did Dana say? Dana said nothing wrong with pole dancing. I was single and had one in my house. It was very good exercise and strength. Yeah, I know Dana. Oh my gosh, because I had a couple of more parties after that. Dana, when you learn how to pull yourself up like that, and then when you learn how to flip, oh my God. And then what I loved about my instructor is that she specialized in plus size. So she took her time teaching us how to get comfortable. You know, we had our gloves until we learned how to do it ourselves. And that body strengthening, and I felt stronger in my body too. I mean, learning how to hold yourself up by one hand or by two, it helps. What did Dana say? She said, yup. I'm telling you, listen, I about need to go do it again and start all over again with that. But it is nothing wrong with spicing up, learning certain things and spicing up your relationship. You don't want to do that. Like I said, my husband and I have been married 32 years. And you will never, and I'm going to say it again. When we first got married, I never would have thought in a million years that we would not be intimate every single day of our marriage. But as life goes on, the time goes on, you get older. We in our 50s now and everything. We're not intimate every single day. Okay. But when we are intimate, baby, you, like I said, you will never hear me say that I ain't happy. And you ain't gonna hear him say that either. What did Dana say? She said, what? She said, I didn't know. It's been 32 years. Yeah, Dana, we've been married 32 years. She said, y'all act like dude. Dana said we act like newlyweds. We go to church with Dana. So Henrik, we go. Yeah, we've been married 32 years. Yep. But when I say it's not every day, like when we first got, but baby, when we do, real. It's still real spicy. Okay, so that's what this is all about now. So number 2 is try new activity. Listen, guys, go out and buy y'all some coconuts. Go buy some fake coconuts. Put some strings on it. Do what I said. Put some string. Make a bikini out of your coconuts. Your top and your bottoms. Make one for your husband or for your partner. And y'all go on and make y'all some little daiquiris, a little faux daiquiris or something, and chill and enjoy yourself. And they got so many board games, intimate board games for spouses. Start playing the board games in that. Do you a little imaginary beach at your house? You can buy the sand and put it on something, put it in the pool. She said, and do that. Listen, spice it up. Number 2, Dr. Janet says to try new activities. Number 3, practice healthy communication. One of the best methods for increasing your intimacy is learning how to communicate in a healthy manner. Listen, if your spouse or if you like to speak a little naughty, hi, my cousin is a hi. If you like naughty talk, speak naughty to your spouse. It's all right. Speak. Dana, I don't know if you heard him. He yelled from upstairs, speak naughty. Speak naughty. Speak naughty. If y'all like that naughty talk, speak naughty to your spouse. Whatever keeps it, that's healthy communication as far as I'm concerned. Number 4, find ways to create safety in your relationship. That is, to me, that's numero uno. Safety is essential to a healthy relationship. To promote safety and trust, you must be willing to listen actively and respect the privacy of your own relationship. This also includes creating an environment free from physical, emotional, and sexual abuse or violence. Okay? So you have to, whoever your spouse is, y'all have to feel safe with each other. You got to trust one another. Okay? Because if there's some fear or something in there, it's not going to work. So let's recap. Sexual withholdings can occur for various reasons. We already talked about that. Medical reasons is some of it. Exhaustion is another. And the lack of trust and betrayal is another one. Okay? So if this is something you may be experiencing, it's okay. She said she heard his voice. Yep. If this is something that you have experienced, listen. The American Association of Sexuality Educators, counselors and therapists, go and find some in your local area. And it's okay to speak with a counselor, the both of you, so you all can get back on track to loving and trusting each other and enjoying each other. Now, how to nourish different types of intimacy in your relationship. I said it was going to be a little bit longer tonight because we got to go over this. We already recapped. How can we nourish the different types of intimacy within our relationships? Okay. So to strengthen your relationships, you're going to have to work on the 4 types of intimacy, which is 1, physical, 2, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. So we're going to go into this really quickly. Number 1, intimacy in general refers to the level of proximity between 2 people. It requires vulnerability, openness, and trust. Listen, I don't know what it is to be skinny or to be small. I don't know. I never, when people say to me, remember when we used to be skinny? I don't, because I've never been skinny. I've always been plus size. I've always been big. I tell people I wish I had my picture here. I would show it to you all. I got as large as 500 pounds, guys. And I tell people, when you see me, you see a miracle. I gained so much weight. I got to up to 500 pounds, and then the Lord blessed me 20 years ago to be able to get the gastric bypass surgery, and I've been able to keep the weight off for 20 years. Okay, but even during that time, I was extremely vulnerable, not only around other people, but with my own spouse, because I had gotten to a size that I had never been before, and it came because of a lot of different things. Having a tubal ligation. I didn't know when you got your tubes tied that puts weight on you, and a whole bunch of other different things like that started happening. So my top weight was right at 500 pounds, guys, and the Lord blessed me to lose well over 300 pounds. And but when I was that size, I was very vulnerable. Of course, I didn't feel pretty and all kinds of things. But my husband at the time, he still, no matter what, he didn't discriminate. He didn't say horrible things to me. He loved me because he loved me. He knew who he married. And that was just something that I experienced for a few years at the time. The Lord blessed me. He knows how I am. I'm a very progressive person. I have been on all types of diets, the heart patient's diet, all kinds of stuff, and I would lose 30 pounds and then gain that 30 pounds back and then another 30. See, all of that contributed to me gaining all of that weight. I went on the cardio diet. I went on all kinds of diets, and I would lose 30 pounds, gain it back, and then put on another 30 pounds. So it was a whole thing that was happening with me, and it was really, really tripping me out because my physical was not what it was. And then the Lord opened doors for me to be able to get the gastric bypass surgery. And once I had it and I lost over 300 pounds, thank you, Jesus, I was back to myself. But I can truly say, even with that, my husband was not less attracted to me or anything like that. He didn't do, and so all of that plays a role. This is what Dr. Janet is talking about. Okay, so it requires a level of proximity, a level that doesn't necessarily guarantee intimacy in other aspects, but you do want that. Okay, and in this relationship, if it has equal power dynamics, intimacy becomes easier to cultivate. So she says, not all relationships involves all types of intimacy, but here are the four of the most common. Physical. So physical intimacy refers to body closeness. We know what that is. It can involve hugging, cuddling, kissing, holding hands, depending on the nature of relationship. Physical intimacy, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, we know what that includes. Okay? You have to feel safe and free to be with someone intimate. Most of the time. There are some people that use sex as validation or as to feeling the need for being wanted. And so that's a whole different thing. So it's harder for someone that's experiencing that to have an actual healthy relationship with someone until they get to the core root of why they so easily give their bodies to people that they may not even know. But to them, it's a way of connecting and feeling wanted. And so that's a whole different type of thing right there. We're going to move on to emotional intimacy. Okay, emotional is being emotionally intimate with another person means being transparent with your deepest feelings, fears, and thoughts. It also involves feeling safe and not judged. All right. And it's all about being the same for that other person. So emotional intimacy, I feel like I know that couples with the physical, the emotional. Now, intellectual intimacy. Mental intimacy refers to sharing your ideas, your opinions, and your life perspectives. May also involve intellectually challenging each other and being open to learning or at least considering the other person's ideas. Now, I like to see couples that like to challenge each other, and they like to, they have like little challenges, like they always trying to outdo the other person. That is stimulating, y'all. That's sexually stimulating when y'all sitting there and maybe you trying to race. For instance, if you're racing one another. Whoever wins, y'all both were equally physically active, or somebody that's running on a treadmill, or if you know karate or something, or you just if you just maybe play chess. You both are very, very good or great chess players, and that stuff is stimulating. So intellectual intimacy is, to me, that's hot. When your mind is stimulated, then everything else is going to start becoming stimulated, okay? So that's a good thing too. Now, spiritual intimacy. Spiritual intimacy means feeling close, validated, and safe, sharing your innermost ideas and beliefs on life's purpose and your connection with divine energies. It's still a blurred concept because it may mean different things to different people. But spiritual intimacy doesn't necessarily mean both people have the same beliefs. but it may involve sharing a broader concept of spirituality. For example, you may both believe that you must be faithful and honest in all things that you do, even if you belong to different religions. And I think that that's really good. So, sharing this higher sense of purpose may develop an intimate closeness that allows you to project a life together, for instance. All right, and this is what Dr. Janet is saying. So, fear of intimacy and ways to overcome it. And I think, okay, I'm going to say a little bit of this. So, fear of intimacy refers to being scared of getting too close to someone else in one or more aspects, whether it's one of the four that we said: physical, emotional, intellectual, or spiritual. Okay, so there are several reasons why some people may fear intimacy, depending on the age and type of relationship. It depends on also your foundation, guys. If you have had a terrible experience as a child, if you've seen terrible things with an intimacy that was portrayed as intimacy as a child, that affects you as an adult. Okay, so fear of intimacy, it's caused by several different things. Another possible fear regarding relationship intimacy may be linked to a sense of losing your identity. Now, a lot of successful people fear connecting with somebody and becoming a spouse because that they don't want to lose their identity. They don't want to lose their so-called freedom to do what they choose and stuff like that. So even with that, at some point, that gets old. Even with someone that's very successful, that gets old because they're getting older and they start to realize, ooh, you know what? I'm getting older and I'm by myself. And it's maybe time for me to start looking at life from a different, lens. So, one way to work on fear of intimacy is by seeking the support of a mental health therapist. And that always works as well. So the recap for that is that intimacy refers to a level of closeness where we feel validated and safe in our relationships. So the four types of intimacy are key. All right, so we got the emotional, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And everybody has experienced one or more of these key intimacies within our relationships. Okay? So if someone on here that's watching, if you're the one that actually fears being intimate, it's okay to seek the support of a therapist that can help you overcome, maybe get to the root cause of it and overcome, so you can live your life and don't be afraid to live and love someone else. Okay, so let's move on to our quote, and we're going to come back on Thursday night at 9 p.m. It's a little, like I said, it's going to be a little bit longer because we're at the end. This is our final week, but we're going to talk about using sex as a weapon, power versus authority this week, because we know a lot of people who may have done it, and some of us may actually done it, use sex as a weapon, whether we withheld it or we used it to get what we want. Okay? All right, so our takeaway. Oh, did I say it already? I probably did. Okay, see, I got so many paper over here. Oh, that was our takeaway. I said that. Now let's move on to our quote. Our quote for tonight, it says, never above, never above you, never below you, always beside you. And that's by Walter Winchell. And that's how we're supposed to be in our relationships with our spouses or partners. Never above you, never below you, but always beside you. We're walking side by side together. And that's by Walter Winchell. All right, then. I'm not going to go over. Let me show this to my fellow theorists. This is where I got my theory from on this week. Guys, I'm going to, I'll just show this quickly. Better Up, if you want. If you're looking for a life coach, Better Up, www.betterup.com. Add Plus community. If you are experiencing ADD, ADHD, OCD, this community, Add Plus community is awesome for those that are experiencing that. BetterHelp.com if you're looking for a therapist online, a licensed clinical therapist, www.betterhelp.com. If you know someone that is experiencing some distress in their life, 988 suicide hotline. You can put in 988 on the phone, online, or anything 24/7. Licensed therapists there to help you get through that tough time. All right. Learning RX is a 30-year plus organization that works with brain training. Whether you have ADD, ODD, if you're a professional, if you're an attorney, a doctor, a business person, if you want to continue to increase your IQ, if you want to improve your thinking or your memory, learningrx.com. They have a proven record that most people who have joined this and went through their brain training have increased their IQ at least 13 points, and their working memory, their all of this have increased. Learningrx.com. All right. So if there's a past counsel of the day with Shanrae that you've missed or you just want to rewatch, go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Click the bell, like, and subscribe. Go to Putting Counsel Today with Shanrae and go to any series and watch that or rewatch whatever you want to see right there on my YouTube channel. And I'm also a professional counselor. If you want professional counseling with me, you can inbox me on my Facebook page at Shanrae Owens, or you can email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. I will see you all Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, part 2 of using sex as a weapon. We're going to end this series this quarter with we're going to get more intimate with our spouses and with our partners, and we're going to learn how not to do that. We're not going to use sex as a weapon, whether we're withholding it from our partners or we're using it to get what we want. You know, both of us, both men and women, we know how to do it. We know how to get what we want. So, again, I will see you all on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good evening. Good night, everybody. Bye.